it is worth stating in advance that obviously with the new film, we're going to go with a spoiler subject.
Mhm.
So, warning in advance.
Yeah.
Run away now.
But subscribe
Because,
before you
of course-
leave.
Yes, because of course, as we've sneakily seen the film, maybe, we're going with the best moment from the new film. So,
Since
I
you
have.
won, you got to go first. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm not going to lie. Having seen the film, it does actually feel like they've done a solo film for Piccolo already.
Yeah,
it
it
was his
was.
film.
It was. It was announced by. I read this today. Actually, it was announced by. It wasn't Toriyama, but one of the other guys who was like the main scriptwriter for the film. He said he was speaking to Toriyama about who should lead the film, and Toriyama was saying, "I want to set it on Earth, and I want Piccolo to be the lead." And that was
Really?
it. He just wanted it to be a Piccolo film, and then I can't remember his name, but this other writer said, "Okay, but can we also include Gohan?" And then Toriyama was like, "Yeah, all right." So yeah, Toriyama really wanted it to just be a solo Piccolo film, and this other writer had to get Gohan included, and that's probably why the main focus is Piccolo, and Gohan is like the second lead. He's not the main, but yeah.
Brilliant. So basically, I knew I must have been it. I magically knew.
Yeah.
Totally called me out.
Yeah.
See, so I got my wish.
You did. You did.
my very own Shenron wish. But unfortunately, despite all that, for my moment, it is not a Piccolo moment. Yes, my moment is, of course, going to be the Gohan Blanco transformation.
As we will name it for now until the real name is revealed. But yeah.
Yeah. Until we get the English dub release, we're going with Blanco for now. Purely because Super Saiyan 2 Gohan in the Cell Saga is my favorite Gohan. He's one of my favorite transformations.
Not Saiyaman?
What? No. He looks very cool.
No,
but
I love Saiyaman. I can't say bad stuff about him.
And it just feels like that 2.0.
Yeah.
And I just love that they took that and they were just like, yes, have some more of it.
It was just a throwback. There was, I would even argue to say there wasn't anything unique about the transformation. It was fully just rehashed material, but span around into a new form.
But the thing is, it was so intentional that they did that to say that like it was, but it was clearly intentional because of how they had Piccolo say the exact same line to Gohan that Goku said to him. That he is the strongest of us, that basically they need him to unleash his power, and that he had to see someone that he cared about suffer to unlock. And you saw like the ping that of him of snapping, and it was literally like those the same exact steps that led to him, and then it just clicked. And the transformation is, every part of it is just the same. And it's just like, so you got like flick of the hair, it's spiking back. Like, I'm not a fan, I'll be honest, for the transformation itself. I'm not a fan of the massive spiky back hair, but I like that they've kept the essence of the transformation, which is like the hair flick and stuff like that. So they've not made it this weird like they've done with Super Saiyan 3 for Goku, where it's like this weird thing all the way down. They've kept the relative essence of it, of Gohan's transformations. So they've kept who he is, and basically how when he did change, you saw the change. He becomes how it's exactly the same as he became, like he did against Cell. When he became against Cell, he went from what he was terrified of being. So he was this pacifist who was scared and or he was struggling, and there was always an issue in his fight. And when he was against Cell, he just turned off,
Mm.
and you saw him just decimate the Cell Juniors with this just cold, dead face. And he basically did that against Cell Max when Cell Max just attacked him, and he just caught the fist, and there was just nothing, and he was just like, and you just knew the fight was over. It was like, and it was just like, it was like every single part of it. It was just like, yeah, this is it. This is just exactly what you needed. It was like, it took me back to when I was like a kid
Mm.
and I got the original Gohan transformation,
Yeah.
and that's why I loved it so much. And I just thought, yeah, they've done it right. And it's like I can. I'm not. I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like the hair. I
I
don't like
don't
the
like the
spiky
hair.
bit of the hair. Like just a bit of the back and everything like that. I like it. Kept the essence at the front and everything. I like that. They respected that. But it's like the transformation itself and how they did it, and how they like keep them blank and everything like that. And
Mm.
it took me back. They kept every single step perfect where they were able to do that.
Mm.
And I think that if you can do that correctly, that's when you know you've done a transformation. That's
Yeah.
when you've done a Dragon Ball transformation right.
Mm.
Because they're the moments in Dragon Ball that I never forgot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because there've been so many transformations in Dragon Ball that you just there are some that are quite. I'm not gonna lie. There are so many that I've. Some of them you just don't really stand out, and like they're like, oh
Like
yeah, I remember when that happened and
like
stuff.
God.
Yeah,
Being
Red
Red
God.
God
Yeah,
doesn't
like Red
stand
God.
out now.
Like I still remember it happening, but when you talk about all the ones that you truly remember,
Mm.
Red God is cool, but it's not one that like comes to memory like that.
No.
Whereas things like Super Saiyan 2 and that are ones that remember, and this is one that I will always link back to because of how it's so similar to the Super Saiyan 2 one. It took me back,
Mm.
and that's what I want. That's the sort of one I want to see. Yeah, where it makes me feel something. It makes me think of something, and
Mm.
I was like, yes, that's when I have a transformation, I just go yes. That's the sort of transformation I want. And obviously, when in the Beerus film on that, like I was watching, I was thinking, yeah, that's cool. I like that, but I didn't get any like true hype from it. I just thought this is really interesting. I think that's what I got. I thought it was really interesting because they had the mechanic around it and everything. Like you've got the five sins and everything like that. It was like
Mm.
it was really interesting and cool, but it was very hard to get hype. I got with Red God. The hype I got was when Vegeta did it.
Mm.
Yeah, because I saw him do it and he had the swirly cool and everything like that. But like that's just because it was fan service.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a potential topic for a future podcast, but does Dragon Ball rely too much on nostalgia now? Because this transformation was just fully based on nostalgia, like doing the exact same speech, the exact same reason for transforming, the same red beam across the eyes and stuff, just a
Yeah,
new form. But yeah, I mean, I liked it as well, but I'm also still thinking, do I just like it because I remember the other transformation, or do I like this transformation for what it is?
yeah. I mean, it's a fair point. It's a fair point. And I think because there are some brilliant points in the film. Don't get me
Mm.
wrong. I'm a big fan of Piccolo's transformation as well. His was
Mm.
excellent as well. I've also got a backup that I haven't mentioned.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, but I think it's just I think when something hits me like that, I think I just can't not say it.
Mm.
Something that has a resonance with me, and if it takes me back to a part of my childhood, I can't not consider it one of the better moments. And I mean,
Mm.
sometimes nostalgia is something that should be recognized, and I'm happy with that. I think if they recognize that they should use it, that's fine. I mean, they obviously intentionally did it.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think there's a difference. I think there's sometimes difference between recycling and recognizing.
Mm.
And I think, like you say, it's probably a discussion for a different time in that regard, because it's I think there's intentionally going back to it and recycling, yeah. And
Mm.
I think this was very intentional,
Yeah,
because they could have done it a million and one ways, uh,
definitely.
but they were very intentional with the way how he was like dead behind the eyes and stuff like that, and like he doesn't like doing it.
Mm.
Like we know he doesn't. He's a pacifist. He doesn't like fighting like that. He never has.
Yeah,
That's not the Gohan we want. Piccolo throughout this entire film wanted Gohan to fight, wants Gohan to train. That's not who Gohan is. Like the entirety of the film, weirdly enough, is Piccolo wanting him to fight. Piccolo
yeah.
does, and Gohan doesn't want to fight.
Even when he realizes his daughter's kidnapped, he's like, I guess
Yeah,
I got her
he
now
doesn't.
then.
And it's and this is what happens when he's forced to. He becomes this dead thing, really. It's
Mm.
like he becomes a monster, really, when you think
Yeah,
about it. Like in the original Cell games, he nearly got everybody killed because he embraced it, and he like Cell blew up because he was enjoying battering Cell. Like he's dangerous. So it's to say he's dangerous. He is dangerous in himself, yeah. And
Mhm.
I think that's why I like it. Is because he becomes a different character. So to see him become that again is interesting because we've not seen that Gohan in how long now? 20 years, something like that,
Maybe
longer.
even slightly longer, yeah.
Yeah. So to come back to that is very cool, and I liked it because it was like, there he is, because he's got control over these forms now.
Mm.
So to see it once again is like not necessarily recycling because we've not seen it in so long. Yeah, you can use Saiyan 2 and stuff like that, but when he uses it, it doesn't impact in the same way it did in the Cell games
Mm.
because you can control it. He's got that yeah, that emptiness, that he's always feared.
Yeah.
And I like to see that again because it's the Gohan that fears it, the pacifist fears. So
No,
I like.
fair enough. Fair enough. It's obviously a strong point, as it is one of the biggest moments in the film. So it is going to be hard to beat. But I'm putting up a fight anyway because my pick is my personal favorite moment. Because yes, I did like the transformation as well, but like I mentioned, it might just be because of the nostalgia. Um, but my favorite moment, which audibly made me gasp, is the special beam cannon from Gohan to scalp Cell. He cleans the top of his head off and ends the fight. And I loved that because, you know, like I meant, they were doing nostalgia throughout this fight with the transformation and stuff. And they really, really, really made it seem like he was going to finish this Max Cell off with the Kamehameha, just like he did to defeat Perfect Cell 20 plus years earlier. And I thought, does that mean we're just going to see a big beam struggle again to end the film? Is he just going to hit him with a Kamehameha and that's going to be how it ends, just like it did last time? Which would have been cool to see. It would have been, again, another throwback. But instead, he switches it up and uses his other dad's technique, using the special beam
Basically,
cannon
yeah,
instead. He's stealing all the moves, and I loved it.
just like his dad,
Yeah, just like his
stealing all
dad.
the moves.
Yeah, but I loved it. I wasn't expecting it. I really, really wasn't. And it surprised me. It made me gasp. And I couldn't have been happier that he used it. Because I was like, finally, there's some. Like, Piccolo and Gohan have always been close throughout, since Dragon Ball Z began. You know, because Piccolo trained him when he was a kid. And they've always been around each other. Piccolo is family to Gohan. You know, that was the whole thing. Like Videl and Gohan. Well, Pan gave Piccolo a stuffed animal, and that's why he has a whole collection in his house because Videl and Gohan thought he really liked it, but really he was just saying he liked it to Pan and make her happy. And that's why he's got a whole collection because they kept giving him more and more.
He actually hates them.
Yeah, but yeah, that it shows how close they are because Piccolo doesn't want to upset Pan, and he doesn't want to upset the whole
He's not gonna do
family.
that for anybody else, is
Yeah,
he?
he's collecting stuffed animals now just because he doesn't want to make them upset. So they're obviously close, and they always have been. And even in the tournament power, they were the tag team of the group. They stuck together to help each other out, and we finally seen Gohan kind of acknowledge that fully. Like, yes, they've always been close and they've fought side by side, but Gohan's actually used a technique of Piccolo's for the first time ever. He's never used a special beam cannon before, and he used it in the biggest moment to save everyone, to save the planet, because Maxwell was about to blow up the planet with his death ball above his head. And yeah, the move that Gohan chose to use was not his dad's move, but it was Piccolo's move. And I loved that. I really did. And that was my favorite moment of the film.
And you know what? I'm not going to offer a counterpoint at all, because if I was to lose to this point, I would be and break my streak. I would be perfectly happy about it, because this was my second one,
Yeah.
and I absolutely loved this moment. I thought it was, again, it was. If I could have continued my point, I didn't want. I thought it would have been cheeky of me to say, like, to just.
To
I
wrap it
would have
all together.
basically say, oh, and then he transformed and he kept fighting and then he did this and then he used special beam cannon, because I basically would have took like the final 10 minutes of the film. So I thought I should probably just say the transformation. But yeah, the fact that he used that, especially in this film, because I think we mentioned in our spoiler review, my exact sense was this isn't a son family film. This is a mentor and student film, and it shows when they do that. They acknowledge that by saying that. I finally say, yeah, these are your boys.
Yeah.
And I just think, yeah, I think it's so important, and that I got chills from that. I did.
Yeah, me too.
And it's like that's why it was my backup choice, because again, I got the throwback from the transformation, and that's why it was important to me. But no, the special beam cannon was very important as well. I thought it was brilliant.
Because, like I mentioned, those two moments were my favorite parts of the film. The transformation fully based on nostalgia, and I was really happy with it and stuff. But the special beam cannon was the moment where I was like, "Oh my god!" I actually like gasped a little bit because I was like, I just wasn't expecting it, and that stands out to me more than the transformation, because we have seen the transformation before, and yes, it was nice to see again. But the special beam cannon, a first time, it was unexpected, and yeah, I loved it. I really did.
It truly was a brilliant moment. I think it was the perfect way to end the film.
Yeah, it was.
Perfect way to defeat the big bad. I think it was so much better than using Masengo. It was so much better than using the Kamehameha. They couldn't have defeated the big bad any other way, especially as they had Piccolo holding the bad guy while he did it. So it was literally a case of him using that
like a sniper, pretty much.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can also link that into. There's also a link when you think about it of Goku holding
Raditz. Yeah.
Whilst Piccolo uses a special beam cannon on Raditz.
Yeah.
So there's a flip as well. There's a member of the Sun family holds their villain, whilst Piccolo uses the special beam cannon. So there's kind of a link there as well. I don't know if that's intentional, but you could look into it as well.
Maybe.
But I think it was perfect. It was absolutely brilliant, and I think the final, regardless of how you feel about the final villain or anything like that, how they ended it, how they killed him or defeated him or whatever, that was done perfectly.
Yeah,
and I loved it. So no, I think it's a great pick by you. It was my second choice. I think they are both brilliant. I think they're both great picks for Hall of Fame. I don't think anybody who picks either side is wrong in any way, shape, or form.
No, I'll be
fine to wrong choice at all.
Yeah, I'll be fine to lose to the transformation because, again, it was my second favorite moment of the film,
Yeah,
and it was a great moment just to see the similar transformation happen again.
I think
Um,
I think to be honest, both transformations were brilliant. I loved Piccolo's transformation as well when he fell to the darkness and you saw the Shenron um, symbol, and then
hmm,
he just explodes in the light as well.
yeah.
I mean, it was a pretty good transformation for him as well.
Yeah, like it's weird to me because they put so much nostalgia into Gohan's transformation, but Piccolo seems really overshadowed by it. And it's a shame because this is a new form for Piccolo, and Piccolo has never had a new form. And I feel like they could have maybe shifted focus onto that one a bit more than they did. Like it was nice, it was still a good transformation, but it wasn't even anywhere close to Gohan's. Really, they put way
Yeah,
more into Gohan's transformation.
I think it was just hard because like everyone's been waiting for Gohan's transformation for so long.
Hmm.
I think that's the problem.
Yeah, it is a bit of a shame, but it was still good nonetheless, just not on level.
Yeah, but
Um,
I'm just glad he's got one.
yeah. But anyway, those are the two Hall of Fame nominees this week. So it's going to be a tight one because they're very similar as is anyway. So,
Yeah.
best moment in the new film, is it Gohan's transformation or is it the special beam cannon? Let us know. There is polls down below in the description. Go vote, and we will find out next week who enters. Well, it's Gohan, but what moment enters the Hall of Fame?